Mr. Speaker, this resolution is made by two members shortly after the submission of the second interim report from the Select Committee on Restoring Law and Order that makes no formal recommendation and actually signals its intent to continue its work. The resolution and accompanying amendment are wrongly presented to this body. I support the rule of law, and I believe we all benefit when we have rules that make sense and that everybody can understand. I'm concerned that this presentation has been working without rules or guidelines. The maker of the resolution is not following any recognizable rule or process. Neither of these people are members of the Select Committee, but they are making a last-minute, lame duck session desperation move to impeach another duly elected official. The House has rarely ever voted to impeach a government official, and no official other than a judge or justice has ever been impeached. There is no rhyme or reason or precedent that can justify this action. In over 300 years, the House has impeached less than 10 times total, and the Senate has only convicted 3 of those individuals. I'm going to repeat that. In 300 years, the House has impeached a total of 10 times, and the Senate has convicted 3 times. Other than the impeachment of Justice Larson for proved criminal conduct in 1993 and 94, the House has not had an active impeachment since 1848. That's 174 years. Now, the makers of this resolution and the last-minute amendment are acting in haste to ask this body to use this extreme power. The Select Committee's report is only interim and not intended to support impeachment. I appreciate that the committee is keeping us apprised of its work, but I think it is premature to take action on that work. I want to quote the final paragraph of the committee's second interim report. The Select Committee has no reservation, emphatically stating, even at this interim stage, that addressing the increase in crime in Philadelphia requires the cooperation and collaboration of all the stakeholders who share in the responsibility of addressing public safety, including but not limited to joint efforts to create policies and programs that harmonize protection of the public and the avoidance of unjust results. The Select Committee is hopeful that its work has underscored this critical need and that such cross-office cooperation can and does result from its work. Now, this language of cooperation and collaboration is important. The Select Committee was set up to deal with a very difficult issue that affects my district and the entire city of Philadelphia and even the entire Commonwealth. If we had been wise, we actually would have set that committee up to look at violent crime statewide, because there are counties that had the same or worse increases in violence as Philadelphia. But we didn't do that. The goal of the Select Committee should have been to conduct a comprehensive investigation examining any and all causes of the rise of violent crime in Philadelphia. I personally voted in favor of the investigation. I held a hope that it would be conducted in good faith with the best interests of my friends, my neighbors, and my constituents at the forefront. Instead, it focused its energies on one singular political lightning rod. And as a result, we've been delivered an incomplete interim report, leaving us to beg the question, where's the beef? There is simply nothing in the report to support impeachment, which is the most serious, extreme, and rare action that we can take. Now, just today, an additional 5 more articles of impeachment were added, but none of them rise to the level of being the type of improper and corrupt action that merit impeachment. And that phrase, improper and corrupt, is actually part of the ruling in the Larson case that my colleague referred to earlier when he submitted the amendments. Now, this is a last-minute attempt to add beef to the allegations, but there's still nothing there. The committee report is still interim, and they are not recommending impeachment. Now, I want to speak directly to my constituents and neighbors in the 177th District because you deserve to know why I am doing what I'm doing today. I know that violent crime in Philadelphia is one of our most dire issues. We have an obligation to find solutions to it. And I think the Select Committee has identified a key characteristic of the solution: cooperation and collaboration. In my office, we do this by regularly attending Police District Advisory Council or PDAC meetings, other community meetings, where we listen to people about what is making them feel unsafe in their own neighborhoods. And to that end, we've actually made arrangements in my office for community meetings that will include the DA himself, along with other stakeholders. That will be our chance to truly hear what it is that's keeping you up at night. When we cooperate with the police and community leaders to find solutions, everyone is safer. And by everyone, I mean everyone. Our kids, our elderly, our law enforcement, our first responders. Everyone deserves to be safe and feel safe. Now, the makers of this resolution are not following the Special Committee's recommendations about cooperation. In fact, the message that is being sent by this unilateral action feeds right into the chaos that the forces of disorder are actually trying to sow. The move to impeach one person for a statewide or even a national problem does not help us to be safer. It does not give us a solution to the violence, and it is not following the rule of law. The twisted interpretation of the Larson decision that would allow non-criminal conduct to be impeached, not based in any rule of law, not that I know. Again, in over 300 years, we have never impeached a fellow elected official for anything other than criminal misconduct, and we've never moved against anyone other than a judge on this floor. Now, the makers of this resolution want to abandon established practice, precedent, and common sense to go after a single person that they disagree with based on an incomplete interim investigation that has found nothing? I don't think so. Now, to my neighbors, I take my role as a public servant and this vote very seriously. I will personally discuss this vote and any other with you whenever you need me to. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.